Hi everyone, my name is Izzy. I am a theatre director, a film director, and I'm a musician. And today we are going to be looking at how to develop our books into a whistle-stop narrative. Now, I used to think a whistle-stop narrative was this. But I was wrong. This is actually what a whistle-stop narrative is. This happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. A whistle-stop narrative is actually a really quick look at all the things that happen in the story. So from the beginning, the middle, and the end. Why might it be useful for us to have a whistle-stop narrative of the book we've read? Please pause the video and have a quick conversation with the person next to you about why we might need to use this when we are discussing our books. Great, so we've discussed why we might need to use this. Now we're going to think about how we might do this. So, as you probably know, each story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. I would like you to take the moment with your partner to think about what happens at the beginning of your Bookfest story. Pause the video and come back to me in a moment. Okay, I also had to think about what tends to happen at the beginning of stories, and three things came up for me. We get introduced to the lead character and maybe some of their friends and family. We also get introduced to possibly the themes of what the story is going to be about. And the third thing is very much looking at what the location is of the place that the story is taking place. Where is the action happening? And even if we're going on a long journey in the story, there's always a very clear place where the action begins. So we've spoken about what happens at the beginning of our story. Now we're going to have a look at what happens in the middle. And I want you to draw a bridge. Because what we're going to look at is what bridges the start to the middle of the story. So what key things happen in order for us to get from here to here? I'd like you to pause the video and have a little think with your partner about what maybe 2 to 3 things happen to get us from the start to the middle of the story. Wonderful. So we are now at the middle of the story. So what is the main event that happens? What has all the action so far led us up to? This is really what we call kind of the crux of the narrative, the main event. I want you to just think as a whole classroom, what is the main event of your story? And I would like you to write it down, okay? Pause the video. Hello! So now we have to think about what takes us from the main action, the middle of the story, to the end. Okay, how does your Bookfest story end? I'd like you to take a moment to have a think about this and write this down. And then we're going to think about the whole bridge of our story thus far. Okay, so we have spoken about what happens in the middle and what happens at the end. Now I'd like you to think about what are possibly 3 key moments that take us from the middle of the bridge to the end of the bridge. Give yourselves a couple of minutes and write that down with your friends. So, as a group, we have figured out what happens at the start, what leads us up to the middle of our story, and then what leads us to the end. We are whistle-stop narrative experts, and you can now present your bridge to the rest of the class. So in the future, when someone asks you, what happens in this story? You can do this bridge activity as a way of telling them as quickly as possible the key points of the story. Thank you so much for taking part in my workshop. My name is Izzy. Have a lovely day.